You was all hurt too.
Hey,
Stephen Fadden, a member of the Mohawk Nation, is an educator, storyteller, motivational speaker, and performing artist. He holds BA and MA degrees in communication from Cornell University and an AA in museum studies from the Institute of American Indian Arts. He was awarded a National Endowment for the Humanities Fellowship to be the 2007 Visiting Scholar at the IAIA, where he is as the Distance Learning Coordinator and an adjunct faculty member. Please remain standing for the invocation.
I'm going to start in Mohawk and then close in English so that we can all enjoy and partake in the thanks. And this is something that we call the opening address, or words that come before everything else. And that as we acknowledge our relationships around us, that it's not just the human beings, that we look to the sky and we give greetings and thanks that all of the star and the sun and the moon continue their cycles of life, that ours may continue. That we look to the heavens and to the thunderers and the rain, and we give greetings and thanks that their cycles of life help us continue. We look to all of the beings that fly about in the sky, the winged and the winged ones that even walk about on the earth, and we give greetings and thanks that their cycles of life continue so that ours may too. That we look to the earth around us and we give greetings and thanks to all of the beings that walk around on 2 legs, 4 legs, on their bellies, and we give greetings and thanks that those cycles of life continue. That we look to all of the plants and the trees, and we give greetings and thanks to them. That we look to all of the medicine plants, that they heal us. And all of our food plants that are our original medicine, we give greetings and thanks. And we give greetings, thanks to the waters and all of the beings that live in them. And if there are any beings that we have forgotten, it is not out of forgetfulness, but it's a really long list. And this is the Reader's Digest version. And it's important during our prayers that we find time to laugh, because our laughter is one of our most amazing prayers. And we're happy to share this laughter with you today. Now our minds are one. Yahweh.
Please remain standing for the flag song.
Hey,
please be seated? Dr. Robert Martin is a member of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma and received his doctorate from the University of Kansas. Prior to coming to the IAIA, Dr. Martin was the associate head for the American Indian Studies program at the University of Arizona and served as the president of 3 tribal colleges: Southwestern Indian Polytechnic Institute, Haskell Indian Nations University, and Tono Autumn Community College. On July 1st, 2007, he began his tenure as president of the Institute of American Indian Arts.
Thank you, Karita, for that introduction, and you did very well on Tono Autumn Community College. That's a tough one. And I want to thank Professor Fadden for getting us started in the right way with a prayer and a blessing. It is a beautiful day. OCO, good morning. On behalf of the faculty and staff of the Institute of American Indian Arts, it is my pleasure to welcome the graduating students and their families, the Board of Trustees, alumni, tribal leaders, elders, friends, and platform guests Joey Harjo and Tony Abeda to our 2013 commencement ceremonies. I also am pleased to welcome, we're streaming live on online video, and so we welcome those who couldn't be with us today at this ceremony to join and share in the celebration that we're having today. Of course, we're gathered here to celebrate the success and the accomplishments of our graduating class of 2013. And I also want to take a moment to mention this beautiful orchid lei came from Mara Garcia's father from the island of Kauai. Thank you for sharing the leis with us. For the past year, we have been celebrating the Institute's 50th anniversary. For more than 50 years, the Institute of American Indian Arts has empowered creativity and leadership in Native arts and cultures. We are celebrating IAIA as the birthplace of contemporary Native art. And graduating students, since your arrival on campus, you've experienced some learning, you've experienced new faculty and staff, new buildings on campus, cutting-edge technology, the availability of family housing, the accessibility of the museum collection now housed on our campus. We had a bookstore open, and a lot of other things. But today, of course, we're celebrating your success as manifested with your graduation. We have had the opportunity to witness your growth and uniqueness, creativity, imagination, and originality. I want to share some information about the graduating class of 2013. There's 49 students, and that's one of the largest graduating classes that we've had. So thank you for coming. And thank you for your persistence in graduating. You range in age from 21 to 61. Some are parents, some are grandparents. Your average age is 34. 19 or 39% of you are men. 30 or 61% are women. However, you represent 25 Native nations, and many are represented on the stage and throughout the tent with their tribal flags. And the top 5 tribes are the Navajo Nation, Cocha de Pueblo, Kiowa Tribe of Oklahoma, Chippewa Creek Tribe, and the White Mountain Apache from Arizona. You come from 14 states. The top 5 are Alaska, Arizona, Montana, New Mexico, and Wisconsin. 37 of you are native. 12 are non-native. Today, as a group, you will be awarded 9 certificates, 7 Associate of Fine Arts degrees, 4 Bachelor of Arts degrees, and 37 Bachelor of Fine Arts degrees for a total of 57. Congratulations on that. You have studied in Venice, Italy, Istanbul, Turkey, and in San Felipe, Mexico, just a few places where they've gone. You've interned at NASA, and now you're going to work as artists, sculptors, painters, metalsmiths, photographers, filmmakers, museum curators, writers, poets, and scholars. And some of you are going to graduate school, and 3 of you are going to go to graduate school at the Institute of American Indian Arts. As you know, we're launching our first graduate program in creative, it's an MFA in creative writing, and we're launching it in the fall of 13. Where is Dr. John Davis? John Davis, stand up. He's providing the leadership. He got it all together, and of course, Dean Ann Philmeyer. Let's give her a round of applause too for their leadership in that. But he's done a lot of work since we had the accreditation visit in February. We received 41 applications. We've accepted 30. 22 are native and 8 non-native. And 10 are IAIA alums, and of course 3 are represented in this graduating class. So thank you. You know, of course, your success, you couldn't do it alone. You had a lot of help. And at this time, I'd like the family members in the audience to stand to be recognized. Thank you for all that you've done in support. Thank you very much. And could the mothers remain standing? I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. Sunday's coming up. Thank you. And of course, we want to recognize your Institute of American Indian Arts family, the faculty that have nurtured you and you've learned so much from. Could the faculty please rise and be acknowledged? Thank you, faculty. Of course, we also have the staff here that have supported you. Could the Institute of American Indian Arts staff please rise, or if you're standing up, you can jump up and down. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, in the past 50 years, the Institute of American Indian Arts has produced more than 4,000 alumni, and you will soon be joining the ranks of those illustrious alums, 2 of which are on the stage, Joy and Tony. So could the alums that are with us today please rise? Many of them work here at the Institute of American Indian Arts. All of our alumni, thank you for coming and for your support. I see Kevin Red Star back there. Thank you. I just want to say you're one of the largest, and of course, I always say this, to best-looking classes of graduates that we've had. But, all right, congratulations, graduates. You did it. Thank you.
Dr. Ann Philmeyer brings more than 20 years of experience in higher education and nonprofit arts management to her role as academic dean. Prior to joining IAIA, she served as department chair for cultural and interdisciplinary studies, founder and director of the Antioch College Summer Writing Intensive, and as associate dean and interim dean of faculty at Antioch in Yellow Springs, Ohio. She is a poet and a writer and has been twice nominated for the Pushcart Prize in Literature for her poetry.
Each year, we ask the students to elect one member of the faculty to be especially honored at graduation. And this faculty member does not know who it is until this moment, so it's always great for the surprise. And I'm going to read the bio, and that will be the clue. And then we'll ask the Faculty of the Year to come forward and accept this honor. This faculty member is an alumna of IAIA with an AFA in both Museum Studies and Studio Arts. She then went on to receive a BA in Anthropology with a minor in American Indian Studies from the University of Washington. She holds a master's in sociocultural anthropology from the University of Washington and is currently finishing her PhD, writing her dissertation on the correlation between traditional Native American practices of object conservation and Western-based collections care, providing the indigenous movement within museology more fuel for their fire. Her vision as a teacher is to prepare students for the dynamic and changing world of museums and cultural centers, to allow them as new professionals within these fields to mold, shape, and form the ways in which Native people are presented, honored, and celebrated. She says we are at this time in history appropriating the museum genre for our own oral and written accounts of ourselves. We are reshaping what it means to be native to this land, what it means to be an indigenous person of worth. She says the next storytellers of our generation will be the artists, the writers, the designers, the curators, and they are today passing through the doors of IAIA. She says it is her great honor to be here as this unfolds. Jessie Riker Crawford.
I'm speechless. Okay, not quite. I want to thank you, students, for this great honor. It is a great honor, but it's not the only honor you're giving me today. We want to thank you as IAIA faculty, staff, and fellow students for being here today. This is the greatest honor that we look for. And we're very happy that you're graduating. You make your family very proud, but we're very sad that you're leaving us. But thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jessie. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the chair of the IAIA Board of Trustees, Mr. Loren Kiva. Mr. Kiva practices law in San Francisco, California. San Francisco Magazine and Law and Politics Magazine have named him as one of the super lawyers in the Bay Area for each of the last 10 years. Loren was raised in New Mexico, attended Stanford University, and has law degrees from Oxford University and the University of New Mexico. He was inducted last year into the Stanford Multicultural Alumni Hall of Fame. Mr. Kiva has been a trustee of IAIA since 1994 and was previously its chair from 1997 to 2001, and then again from 2007 to 2011. Please join me in welcoming IAIA Board of Trustees, Mr. Loren Kiva.
Osio, Ya'ate, Aloha, Bienvenidos, welcome. I would like to introduce my fellow members of the Board of Trustees and some special guests who are in attendance this morning. I would ask the trustees to please stand after I call your name so that you may be recognized. Please hold your applause, if any, till the end. Barbara Davis Blum from Washington, D.C. Dr. Cynthia Chavez Lamar from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Joanne Bolzer from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Christine Miller from Denver, Colorado. Deborah Goodman from Oklahoma City. Barbara Ells from Denver, Colorado. Bidta Becker, our newest member from Defiance, Arizona. And last but foremost in our hearts, Congressman Jim Santini from Washington, D.C., our longest-serving board member. There are many people who have made today possible, going back to before this place was even here. And some of you are here today, and you have been our friends, our supporters, through thick and thin, and we truly owe you our greatest debt of thanks and honor. Among the people who are here that we would like to recognize, and again, please hold your applause till the end, New Mexico State Department of Indian Affairs Secretary Allison, his Deputy Secretary Duffy. We have Janelle Frederick, who is a representative of Senator Martin Heinrich, a longtime friend, and before that she was a representative with Senator Bingaman, an even more longtime friend. Governor George Rivera of Pewaukee, who is a member of the IAIA Foundation Board of Directors. Catherine Tiarina, one of our former presidents. Her wonderful mother, LaDonna Harris, a former board member. Mayor David Koss, who has been just a wonderful friend. We wish you well in whatever next career you decide to pursue. The Hauser family is just such a spectacular group of human beings and artists. Anna Hauser is here today, and thank you for all that you do. Ison New, former wife or wife deceased of Lloyd New, who is, again, one of the special people in our hearts. Michael Naminga, of the Naminga family. You do so much for New Mexico, and we are so proud to have you as a member of the IAIA Foundation Board of Directors. We also have New Mexico State Senator Benny Shendo. And finally, I don't know if you're in the room, but if any members of the Thompson or Meyer families are here, we want to thank you too. You may not know this, but the land that we are on many years ago was simply vacant land, and the Meyer and Thompson families donated the land that we have here, and so we too owe you a tremendous debt of thanks. Finally, I would like to honor and recognize my good friend, Dr. Robert Martin and his wife Lucy Tapahanso, who have given us so much and with whom it is such a pleasure to be your servants. It is my sincere pleasure to introduce this year's commencement speaker, Joy Harjo. Joy was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, something she shares with my mother and my wife's mother. She is a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation. Her books of poetry include She Has Some Horses, The Woman Who Fell from the Sky, and How We Became Human, and her latest book, Crazy Brave, a memoir. She has released 3 award-winning CDs of original music and performances, Letter from the End of the 20th Century, Native Joy for Real, and She Has Some Horses. She co-wrote the signature film for the National Museum of the American Indian, 1,000 Roads. She won the 2011 Muskogee Women's Leadership Award as the Artist of the Year, and she is a founding board member of the Native Arts and Cultures Foundation. Please join me in welcoming Joy Harjo.
This morning, as I got my red chili fix in the hotel restaurant, I overheard a parent of one of you guys say, "My daughter is graduating from IAIA, finally." I know she's happy to be here, and we're all happy to be here to honor this graduating class of 2013. And we know what it takes to get to this place. And I'm honored to be here as a 1968 high school graduate of IAIA. And I still remember sitting with my graduating class of high school students then. It was a Bureau of Indian Affairs school, and then some postgraduate students under the tall cottonwoods over at the Cerrillos Road campus. And Stuart Udall was our commencement speaker. And I remember being impressed that he was Secretary of the Interior and that he was speaking to our graduation. But I think what I remember most was Bill Souza, or Bill War Soldier, with his really cool John Lennon glasses, being pulled out of line by his ear by his mother because he was wearing jeans. And we watched him being dressed into a suit under the trees. But we were graduating, and that sense of elation and accomplishment filled my spirit, just as it did every student there that afternoon, and just as it does everyone here this morning. Because we were being given, it was a jumping off place, a place of being given permission to take our place in the next generation of young Native achievers. And we were determined to take it. And we did, and we have, in our own way. Though nothing quite happened the way we expected, and I don't know that it ever does for any of us. There were surprises, and there are surprises along the way. Failures, disruptions, challenges, losses, celebrations, and it's all living. So much has changed since then. IAIA is no longer a BIA school. It's now a four-year college or university, and the old campus is gone. Self-determination, indigenous rights movements, the casino culture, self-governance, Native nation sovereignty, a leap in publications by Native writers set off by Vine Deloria Jr. and N. Scott Momaday, Leslie Silko, assertion for protection of Native languages and cultural rights, protection of intellectual property, hip-hop, spoken word, installations, the internet, cell phones, and we have the 1491s. But so many things haven't changed in 45 years. We gather here, graduates and your supporters, with that same sense of elation and accomplishment. And we have the same questions that we've always had. What does it all mean? Will I make it? Will we make it? Does art matter in this world? How can artists make it? How can we make a living, make art? What will happen to us in this changing world, in this changing environment? How will we continue to make meaning in this world, to be Indian in this world, to be human? Will there be a place for our art, for our children, and so on? All the questions that keep us trying, keep us up in the night creating, singing, painting, writing, constructing, dreaming, taking care of each other, taking care of the children. I am here to remind you that you can make it, that you've already made it. If you remember to be inside each moment of your story and to give it gratitude and respect, you will make each step, follow it through despite the difficulties and challenges. And you already know about difficulties and challenges. We Native students, our non-Native student colleagues and relatives know the incredible gift and challenge of being Native in a non-Native overculture with all the historical trauma that defines us, America. And to be an artist and those serving artists in the arts, it has its own set of challenges. Yet, we learn that these challenges are what grow us, what ignites the fervor of creation. I have just a few moments to share with you a few things that many of us have learned that might be useful to you as you step from this part of your path into the next. Your life is an artistic creation. Every thought, word, image, or dream aches for fulfillment. Choose those that will challenge you to urgent depths of knowing and design. Understand where they come from. Thoughts are of the same earth mind, the mind of plants, animals, and all others who occupy this space with us. They are born of our ancestors, of other creative works that inspire us. Words and images and are born of these thoughts. Thoughts are given birth from dreams, the dreams of stars, planets, and those who love and believe in us beyond love and belief. You are making, or we are all making, a story ever as dynamic as any piece of art. And you are inside a dynamic story. Your story and the story of others are ultimately the same story. We all just have different parts of the story. Do not break yourself trying to make yourself fit into a self or idea that is not you. You will not find peace if you make yourself or your art into an image to please others. There will always be critics. You must make your own path. You will be challenged even beyond your perceived ability to face challenges. This means that's why Indian people are especially loved, because we have been challenged so greatly. The biggest failures often lead to the breakthroughs that will shift the vision. When you think of failure, what you think of as failure may not be failure at all. It might be exactly what you need. There is no room for judgment in your art or your life. Discernment is another matter. Discernment is the second stage in making art. The first stage is utter joy with the process. Trust yourself. Trust the weave of the pattern of the story. Feed the spirit of your art. You feed the spirit of your art with thoughts, prayers, songs, and your accomplishments in their honor. You feed them with your creative gifts. Study. Know stones and their secrets. Know the patterns of stars. Memorize poetry, songs from your tribal nation and other cultures, including world artists like Bob Marley. Learn your tribal language. Study the lives of others. You will learn as much from their failures as from their successes. The relationships and friendships you make here are special and will sustain you throughout your life. You know each other well because you've been tested together, and you've been there for each other. I still am very close friends with Gloria Castillo was her name. Her name is Gloria Bird now. And she always impressed me because we would all be hanging out, making plans, and she would get up from a group and say, I'm going to go write. And I still remember that. And eventually, we made an anthology together, and we're still friends. And I also want to mention Carita Coffee, another friend I made when we were students at University of New Mexico, and we're still here for each other. We'll always be there for each other. Find people you admire in word, thought, and deed, and listen to them, watch them, and assist them. You will resonate to that which you put your mind, heart, body, and soul around. Remember that you can raise people up with your good thoughts, your assistance, your love. And don't be afraid to go up to those people. Sometimes they're not of this world, but you find them through what they've left behind. When I started studying saxophone, when I was about 40, I went to New York City to be in a poetry event. And I got brave. I was afraid to look up somebody who was known, but I looked him up. He invited me into his home. We played some saxophone. We listened to music, and that was important, and he's still important to my work. So I call him one of my saxophone ancestors. So it's important to remember that as we have family ancestors who affect us and we affect them, and that there are many ancestral lines that provide an immense web of knowledge and being. We have ancestors of our arts. I have many saxophone ancestors like Jim Pepper. I have poetry ancestors like N. Scott Momaday, Alexander Posey, a Muskogee poet. All of you have ancestors of your art. Here at IAIA, one of the sculptor ancestors is Alan Hauser. An important IAIA creative writing ancestor that maybe a lot of people don't know is Emerson Blackhorse Mitchell, who wrote Miracle Hill. So acknowledge them. Acknowledge your teachers and mentors. You know, go up to them and thank them. Do something for them. And give back. That's the next part. That's how you take care of the gifts of the ancestors. Mentor others. Make opportunities for them. This is how the gifts will grow. And maybe most important is that the gifts do not belong to you. We are in service of these gifts. We take care of them. All of these gifts that we've been given are given to us to take care and give back. But it's through failure, again, that many humans learn. And I have failed many more times than I've succeeded. And I think that's the way for any of us in this world. You will carry the story of IAIA with you through your whole life. IAIA affirms us. I think it affirmed me as a young student who was very lost, but found myself or remembered myself being with a community of other young Native artists. It affirmed me as an Indigenous person and an Indigenous artist. And I think for perhaps all of us who have been part of IAIA, we know that we're part of a community and that we're no longer alone. And that it's also, this IAIA has rejuvenated many of our communities, the communities we go back home to, the communities that we touch. And so I want to say, Mado, thank you for IAIA, and also that I'm still here. You know, the connection still goes on. So, and we celebrate. We're here today to celebrate that connection, to celebrate art. I'm going to close with a blessing poem in honor of the graduates. It was written for a granddaughter who was basically graduating from one part of her life to another. And it's for you who are graduating from one part of life to another. And I will close with this. That day your spirit came to us. Rains came in from the Pacific to bless. Clouds peered over the mountains in response to the singing of medicine plants who danced back and forth in shawls of mist. Your mother labored there so young in earthly years. Your father and all of us who loved you gathered where pollen blew throughout that desert house to bless. Horses were running the land, hundreds of them. They accompanied you here to bless. I wonder what you thought as you paused there in your spirit house before you entered into the breathing world to be with us. Were you longing for us too? Our relatives in that beloved place dressed you in black hair, brown eyes, and skin the color of earth. They turned you in this direction. We want you to know that we urgently gathered to welcome you here. We came bearing gifts to celebrate. From your mother's house, we brought poetry, music, medicine makers, stubbornness, beauty, tribal leaders, and a yard filled with junk cars. And the gift of knowing how to make them run. We carried tobacco and cedar, new clothes and joy for you. And from your father's house came educators, thinkers, dreamers, weavers, and mathematical genius. They carried a cradle board, hope, white shell, and turquoise for you. We brought blankets to wrap you in, soft beaded moccasins of deerskin. Did you hear us as you traveled from your rainbow house? We called you with thunder, with singing. Did you see us as we gathered here beneath the mountains? We were dressed in concern and happiness. We were overwhelmed with awe as you moved through the weft of your story. Even before you took your first breath, your eyes blinked wide open. Now breathe. And when you breathe, remember the source of the gift of all breathing. And when you walk, remember the source of the gift of all walking. And when you run, remember the source of the gift of all running. And when you laugh, remember the source of the gift of all laughter. And when you cry, remember the source of the gift of all tears. And when you dream, remember the source of the gift of all dreaming. And when your heart is broken, remember the source of the gift of all breaking. When your heart is put back together, remember the source of all putting back together. Don't forget how you started your journey from that rainbow house, how you traveled and will travel through the mountains and valleys of human tests. There are treacherous places along the way, but you can come to us. There are lakes of tears shimmering sadly there, but you can come to us. And valleys without horses or kindness, but you can come to us. And angry, jealous gods and wayward humans who will hurt you, but you can come to us. You will fall, but you will get back up again because you are one of us. And as you travel with us, remember all this. Give a drink of water to all who ask, whether they be plant, creature, human, or helpful spirit. May you always have clean, fresh water. Feed your neighbors. Give kind words and assistance to all you meet along the way. We are all related in this place. May you be surrounded with the helpfulness of family and good friends. Grieve with the grieving. Share joy with the joyful. May you build a strong path with beautiful and truthful language. Clean your room. May you always have a home, a refuge from storm, a gathering place for comfort. Bury what needs to be buried. Laugh easily at yourself. Praise and give thanks for each small and large thing. May you grow in knowledge, compassion, and beauty. Always within you is that day your spirit came to us, when rains came in from the Pacific to bless. Clouds peered over the mountains in response to the singing of medicine plants who danced back and forth in shawls of mist. Your mother labored there so young in earthly years, and we who love you gather here. Pollen blows throughout this desert house to bless. And horses run the land, hundreds of them for you, and you are here to bless.
Joy, on behalf of the 2013 graduating class, we would like to present this blanket. It's designed by one of our alums, Mary Beth Heron, and this is part of the American Indian College Student Series. But on behalf of the graduates, we really want to thank you for sharing this celebration with all of us. Thank you.